Good afternoon. This is the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners for 14 November 2017. I'm Commissioner Bud Blake, the chair of the board this year. I'd like to start off by doing introductions. To my left is Commissioner Gary Edwards. To my right is Commissioner John Hutchings. To his right is Clerk of the Board Labadina Bomar. To her right is the County Manager Romero Chavez. And to his right is Robin Campbell, the Assistant County Manager and Budget Officer. With that in mind, I'd ask Mr. Commissioner Gary Edwards to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. So we'll just move right in, calling the meeting to order, and I'll ask if there is an approval for today's agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the Tuesday, November 14, 2017 agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and second to approve the November 14, 2017 agenda. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and that motion carries. And the board meeting minutes for 31 October and 7 November 2017.
I move to approve the boarding meeting minutes of October 31, 2017 and November 7, 2017.
Second.
It's been moved and second as stated. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and that motion carries as well. So we have 5 presentations today, and so with that in mind, I'll just start off by asking Romero Chavez, the county manager, to do an introduction. We have the Miss Thurston County, Ashley Ingstrom today, and she is going to come to the podium in a second after Romero introduces her.
Thank you very much, Commissioners. Good afternoon. We have the great pleasure to have this special visit today, so thank you very much for coming over. And I'd like to introduce Ashley Engstrom as the newly crowned 2018 Miss Thurston County. So I may ask you to, Ashley, to come to the podium and tell us about yourself and what are you planning to do in 2018?
Everyone can hear me. So as you said, I'm Ashley Engstrom, and recently 1 week ago I was crowned Miss Thurston County. And with my year of service, I am planning with my platform, and my platform is Education Matters No Matter the Circumstance. And for me, going into education after I get my master's degree in education, I will. The platform is to raise money, food, backpacks, and everything like that to distribute through Thurston County and also Mason County because I am a Mason County girl. And with that, I helped with the Little Red Schoolhouse project. I also will be expanding my platform through every other schools and everything with that nature for Thurston County. And also I will be making many appearances with schools and businesses and meetings such as this. So if there's any questions that anyone else would like to ask me about the program, I would be more than welcome to answer.
Maybe just a quick statement. Thank you for being a role model for our young people. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. And some of our older people, too. Huh? So.
And it's a very viable and worthy causes that you're doing as well. But you said you're a Mason County girl.
Yes, I live in Shelton. But because Mason County doesn't have a program, the neighboring counties are also able to contribute to the next county. So that's
Good.
why I ran for Thurston.
So you're a role model for both counties.
Yeah.
Yes.
Beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thurston Mason, Miss
Thurston.
And if anybody wants to donate to Miss America's platform of Children's Miracle Network or my platform with school supplies, money, food, any of that nature, you're more than welcome to contact me on the Miss Thurston County Facebook page or email my local directors as well.
So I have a question.
Am I supposed to pass the hat now? Oh, pass the hat?
I know you're passionate about all those causes, but which one have you put your head and heart with first, and walk us through that one that you've got going already? So,
what was the first part of the question?
Like the backpacks and all the causes that you are working on, some of the initiatives.
Mm-hmm.
Which one there you're leaning towards first to start working on?
The first one I'm really with my platform. I did work with Little Red Schoolhouse, so I have a little bit of experience with that, but I also have many open opportunities with the Thurston County backpack program to help the homeless kids that aren't able to get school supplies or shoes for the next school year.
Mm-hmm. And did you say the Little Red Schoolhouse?
Yes, the Little Red Schoolhouse project.
Okay, good. I want to make sure I heard it correctly. Good.
Yes.
Okay, any other questions?
No, but Ashley, I'm glad you're going to get your master's.
Oh, yeah.
Go on and get it done while you're your age.
What is school?
Huh?
What school are you getting your master's in?
Right now, I'm going to SPSCC to get my Associates in Arts, and then I will be transferring to Central Washington to get my
Fabulous. Good
education.
school.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
We're going to do a photograph of that young lady.
Let's do a photograph of that.
Okay,
All right,
thanks.
come on over. Grab it and go. Put her right in the middle and you stand right there. How about that? That help? All righty. 1, 2. Need another? Cool.
Good.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much for what you do.
Yes, thank you very, very much.
All righty, so now Ms. Jennifer Thompson, she's a representative of the United Way, and she's going to give a presentation on the Buddy Reading Program. And so, hi Jennifer, how you doing? Come on over to the podium. Did you have a slideshow on the thing, or are you just going to talk from the
We
podium?
actually do have a slideshow, but I wasn't sure if we were able to use it.
I think
I
we're a
don't
little.
think we have the time.
Oh yeah, we didn't have the time.
Time?
So okay, we'll just go from the
Okay.
podium then. Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. I've got to pull this down after
Yeah.
the tall girl. Good afternoon, commissioners, and thank you, Commissioner Blake, for having United Way of Thurston County come to share our Reading Buddy program. My name is Jennifer Thompson, and I am the volunteer coordinator with the Retired and Senior Volunteer Program at United Way of Thurston County, and it's also known as RSVP. RSVP is a federal organization under Senior Corps, sister program AmeriCorps, all falling under the management of the Corporation for National Community Service. So I work to engage folks 55 and older, staying active in community volunteerism here in Thurston County. And while my sponsor is United Way of Thurston County, I also serve Mason and Lewis counties as well. So what we do, during the Great Recession, United Way Worldwide launched a national initiative to recruit 1 million reading buddies, mentors, and tutors to support our schools because of the drastic budget cuts that we were facing statewide that were impacting education. So what we do, the Reading Buddy program brings community volunteers to schools in Lewis, Mason, and Thurston counties to support students with grade level reading success. Our vision is to connect Reading Buddy volunteers with all students who would benefit from having support to achieve grade level reading success. Who we serve schools, teachers, and students to support district-wide literacy goals. Did you know that when students are not reading at grade level by 3rd grade, they are 4 times more likely not to graduate on time or at all? Why we do this? Because we need more caps and gowns. I do want to point out that some of our schools in Thurston County have increased graduation rates by using a 5-year senior year cohort. Graduation rates have tipped up to 90% in recent years using the 5-year model, higher than the statewide average that hovers about 80%. But why is this work important? Things have changed a lot since I learned to read in my Little Red Storybook in 1966 in Marin County, California. And I want to point out that our public school system works very, very hard to meet the needs of each student where they are. They have a huge responsibility to reach a very diverse population of learners within each school. Not all students meet 3rd grade benchmark in literacy. Many classrooms are at capacity. Our school partners need and welcome community support to support them in their work. So I recruit folks for our local public schools, and only about an hour a week is all it takes to make a difference in a child's life. In 2016, 2017, our program, A Year in Review, we were able to serve 800 students, about 400 here in Thurston County. We partnered with 23 elementary schools. 184 reading buddies were in the program this last year, giving over 5,000 hours of extra service supporting our teachers and our struggling students. But we have more schools on a waiting list. We have wrapped up our fall reading buddy orientations and training, but we'll schedule our final sessions early January and find placement following winter student assessments. One of our highest need schools in Thurston County is on the waiting list. So we need help spreading the word, being an advocate for the program, signing up to be a reading buddy. It's only about an hour a week. And you can find the information on our United Way webpage. Click Get Involved or give me a call. I'd love to meet with you and share more about the program. Before I close today, my cohort in my office, who's on the fundraising side of our house, wanted me to remind you that the Thurston County United Way campaign is kicking off next week, and to also let you know that we're available to serve you with any volunteer group projects that you may have within your county staff, leadership opportunities, team building, things of that nature. So thank you for this opportunity to spread the word, and I look forward to seeing some of you sign up today.
Do you have a question? Oh, I have a
Questions?
question. Yeah.
Just a quick comment. I would like to advocate for your position, because a lot of these folks have heard me say this before, but you know, you're working with our youth. And our youth are about 30% of our population, but they're 100% of our future.
Absolutely.
And so the more investment time we put in is a great return.
Thank you.
So thanks for what you do.
Thank you.
Yeah. Two more comments.
I heard and saw your presentation at Rotary a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it was in greater depth than this was. And it was very telling to hear the success that only 1 hour a week of volunteer time, what it does to open up doors for all of our kids. And it's not a critique on our educational system. They're just so stretched, and curriculum is just packed in there, and they're not afforded the time. So I can't push this enough. 1 hour a week is all it takes. And the schools that my grandkids go to now are begging for volunteers to help.
They really are. Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you very much for what you're doing.
Yeah, I just want to add to that in the same sense that the 1 hour a week is very cost effective. An adult spending that much time, look at the returns you get, not only in terms of a person growing up and living a productive life, but all the social benefits we get from that in terms of costs and possibly staying out of jail, keeping a job, having a job, being educated is key to getting a good job. A good job keeps you out of jail. You know the deal as far as that, and it's just absolutely phenomenal that you're out there raising the flag and awareness to how this could be a simple, low-cost fix. Yeah, and kids love it when adults give them that time, I'm sure, right? And
Reading buddies say they very well get more out of it than the student does.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty equal. Do I have just a moment to tell one quick story?
You have the moment. This is what we're here for.
Okay. I want to talk about a little boy named Dylan. Dylan repeated kindergarten twice. He was in the Rochester Primary School. He happened to be matched with a reading buddy named Mr. Carlson. Dylan was a little boy whose family would greet each other, flipping the bird. There was drug activity in the home. There was incarceration in the home. The home was covered in tarps, and Dylan had a lot of behavioral issues. Well, Mr. Carlson happened to be a retired high school teacher from a correctional facility. He said, I don't know why, but these kids gravitate to me. So Mr. Carlson met with Dylan on Monday mornings, and he decided that before their reading session, he would greet Dylan at the bus. And so they would walk into school together, and that would set the stage for his day. And he used that time to play role model and teach him how to be a good citizen. And at the end of the school year, Principal Roney said, you know, if there's one shining star, It's that Dylan is now greeting people, looking them in the eye. His behavior has diminished. And she said, I know it's all because of Mr. Carlson. So there's moments like that, stories I get to hear week in, week out. So it's fun.
Very good. I'm so glad you shared that story.
That's
Thank you
a beautiful
so much.
story. Like the starfish parable.
Yeah, exactly.
If you haven't heard that, it's beautiful.
It is, very much so. So our next presentation is from the Superior Court, and it's I have Pam Hartman-Beyer come to the podium. Today is Proclamation Day, November 17th, and it's on the National Adoption Day, right? Not Proclamation Day, my bad. So it's National Adoption Day.
Yes, so commissioners were asking you to declare November 16th, Thursday, November 16th, National Adoption Day. At Family and Juvenile Court, we are going to have 9 families adopt children.
Oh, great.
And the celebration happens at 4 p.m., and so everyone is invited. And so we'd ask that the proclamation be read and that it be declared National Adoption Day.
Sure. So just let me make sure I got this straight. On 16 November at 4 p.m., there's a huge to-do to go to because kids are being adopted and people are becoming parents. Just walk us through what that feels like for us.
Correct. So we have all of the adoptions are done in chambers. So those are not done out in the public in the courtrooms. Those are done back in chambers with the judges. And then we go out into a courtroom and we have, it will be Judge Hirsch that will take the bench and she'll kind of celebrate all of the community partners that have kind of made the day possible. So we partner with the Thurston County Bar Association, the Department of Child Social Services, Children's Museum has really been a big partner in making sure that we have activities for the children that come out. And other local restaurants that donate food, pizza, cupcakes, drinks, and different items for the kids to snack on throughout the day. And then we have a celebration. There's usually teddy bears. There's different activities for them to participate in. And we don't have court going on from 4 to 5 in that building, and they're able to engage in activities. And really just celebrate the fact that we're able to do adoptions, which is the greatest thing we're able to do kind of in courts.
It is the greatest thing, you bet.
Offer kids a permanent home.
You bet. And is it open to the public?
It's open to the public. It's at our Family and Juvenile Court, which is in Tumwater, which is kind of about a mile and a half as the crow flies.
As the crow flies, yeah. Sure. Is there any questions?
Because we don't have room around here.
Yeah. Any comments or questions?
No, I would say that it's awful nice that you can do, the court, I know, deals with the worst situations society has to offer, and yet you're dealing with the best because, again, we're intervening with our youth, and we can't do any better than that. Thank you.
And celebrating new families and expanding families, that is cool. I can't imagine what that feels like from an adoption perspective, but boy, that's really honorable. It's good work.
Yeah. I just kind of piggyback on what they're saying because, as we all know, sitting in this room and our own families, the families is the nucleus of what we do to survive through hard times and celebrate the good times. You always can go home to family, so it's very, very good.
About how many will be adopted?
So I think there are 10 children and 9 families.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful.
That's very good. Okay, so you want to read the proclamation?
I do. Whereas Thurston County recognizes the importance of giving children permanent, safe, and loving families through adoption, and whereas more than 110,000 children in the United States foster care system are waiting to be adopted, whereas more than 1,556 children in Washington State are waiting for permanent families, and whereas to help these children find permanent, nurturing families, Thurston County Family and Juvenile Court will open their doors on National Adoption Day, Thursday, November 16th, 2017, to finalize the adoptions of local children and join other organizations to celebrate all adoptions. And whereas this effort, along with similar celebrations in all 50 states, the District of Columbia, Guam, and Puerto Rico, will offer children the chance to live with stable and loving families and encourage other dedicated individuals to make a powerful difference in the life of a child through adoption. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Board of Thurston County Commissioners does hereby proclaim November 16th as National Adoption Day in Thurston County, and in so doing urges all citizens to join in a national effort to raise awareness about the importance of adoption. Adopted this day in November 2017, your county commissioners.
Yay, congratulations. You want to come up here and get a photo?
Yay.
You're going to go down there? There you go, take the badge. I'll put this in your hands like this and get it right in the middle. You bet.
And Pam, we would have had some judges here, but they're all tied up in court, right?
You get me instead.
No, we got
Well
the best.
done, Ms. Pamela.
What did he say? Can you help?
I have a phone.
Yeah, we got a phone. Did you get it? Perfect. All right. Thank you, Pam, as always. You bet. Wow, that's exciting stuff. We had Miss Thurston County, then reading, and then adoptions. So let's just try another one since we're on a good roll here, huh? So I have Mr. Josh Cummings. He's going to introduce, he's the interim director for resource stewardship. He's going to introduce and tell about how we had a volunteer 4th annual day of service here in Thurston County. Hi, Josh.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yes, I am Joshua Cummings, Resource Stewardship Director, interim. It's my pleasure to, again, help coordinate the 4th annual JBLM Day of Service in Thurston County. This is the third Thursday in Thurston. In Thurston County, we partner, from the support of the commissioners, with the 627th Air Base Group out of JBLM, Joint Base Lewis McChord. Over the past 4 years, we've been engaged in helping different organizations throughout Thurston County, South County, North County, all over, helping out. This year, the JBLM folks had 120 different airmen and air personnel come down to volunteer at 8 organizations throughout our county. The Nisqually Land Trust, City of Tumwater Parks, Thurston County Food Bank, Homes First, South Sound Reading, City of Tenino, City of Lacey Parks, and the Olympia Waldorf School. We had sponsorship from Forma Construction and WSCCU, and Jimmy John's provided the sandwiches. So it's just a huge deal, and we really appreciate the 627th doing it. I wanted to bring up Lieutenant Sobieski, who was my POC, the point of contact there at JBLM, and it doesn't happen without these guys really getting in there and getting those volunteers organized and knowing how to coordinate and get it done right. This has been, I think, one of the best, most logistically sound years that we've had so far, and I want to bring up Lieutenant Sobieski to say hello.
You raise the mic up a little bit. There you go.
I want to thank the board, especially Commissioner Blake and Commissioner Hutchings, for showing up and speaking. Airmen loved it.
Back.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's all right.
I didn't meet you that day. But again, thank you very much. 4th annual, we're looking forward to more years in the future, making it stronger, maybe bigger, talking about that. But really appreciate all the support from our sponsoring organizations. And that's all I can say. Looking forward to more.
Oh, we got something to say. You want to say?
Well, I want to say thank you very much for your participation, but the general public, I don't think, realizes how much of an asset JBLM is to our community. So not only from that perspective as an economic driver in our community, but for individuals like yourself and your group that you brought down that are willing to get involved and make our community a better place to be. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I opined on this last time that I was so moved and impressed by the show from JBLM and all the effort that was going on throughout the county, and then actually witnessed a couple of the locations that were addressed, that your folks went out and cleaned up and painted and took care of, and it was quite impressive. It shows, as I said a couple weeks ago, not only are you deciding to give your time and a big chunk of your life to your country, but then on your off time, you're devoting an entire day to the different communities. And to me, that is just beyond pale. And I have to share this because this morning, between 4 and 5 in the morning on a news channel, is the Wall Street Journal reporting from back east somewhere. And it's an international show. And they said they were talking about something that happened at Applebee's in Lacey. Well, that piques you up, when you're just kind of trying to get back to sleep and it doesn't work. And They said a returning soldier from Afghanistan wanted to reunite with his friends, and so they all rode together to Applebee's, and were yucking it up and having fun when the manager came over at the end of the meal and asked, who's the returning veteran that's in charge of this group? And the one guy, thinking they're going to get thrown out, he said, what's me? Well, someone had anonymously given $300 to cover their tab for everybody there, and their tab was about $260 for dinner and whatnot. And that's just very, very touching and very heartfelt. So a lot of people do appreciate our veterans greatly, and so I appreciate you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, just a little bit more on that. From country to community, you and the airmen and the team that you have there represent what America is really made of as far as extending your gratitude and love and care for the community, and it really is appreciated. But I was just wondering if you could just kind of give some numbers of how many people came out there and how many projects they worked on in so many days or hours. So could you just, one of y'all just kind of tell that story?
Yes, sir.
Because it's not just one or two people.
We had 120 volunteers, or we weren't in uniform that day, but airmen. We supported 8 organizations as listed, and 840 hours volunteer service in one day. And the equivalent economic benefit is $17,500. And like you said, sir, it's a great benefit to the county, and we love doing it. So, as I said, we're looking forward to the future.
So we have a 5th annual coming up, right?
Hopefully.
Yeah. Okay, good. That's great. Any other stuff?
Oh, that's
You
great.
really transformed the food
you.
bank downtown Olympia.
You did.
Transformed it night and day. Good grief. Beautiful. They're so appreciative.
All right, LT, back on your head.
Thank you, sir.
Oh,
Yeah,
photo?
sure.
Yeah, thank
We're
you.
missing the boat here.
Yeah, we're just sitting there waiting for the Air Force to come save us.
Up and down, up and down, up and down.
Hey, we're going to surround this guy. We're a couple Army guys.
Oh, yeah. Gave us so much peace on that day.
Get tight here.
Yeah.
You said perfect, so there you go. You're
Tired
good.
of sucking these in.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So the next presentation includes the public defense, and we have Mr. Patrick O'Connor, who's the Director of Public Defense for Thurston County. He's going to introduce a new employee, Mr. Kevin Griffin, and give a little bit of background on Mr. Griffin. Hi. You bring the mic down. There you
I
go.
am
There you go.
short.
No, you're not. You're perfect.
Good afternoon. It's a great pleasure of mine to introduce Public Defense's new employee, Kevin Griffin. Mr. Griffin's joining us here today. This is part of my philosophy is to try to recruit the very best public defenders I can, and we have poached the very best from Spokane County. At least that's what their bench has told me in my recruitment of Mr. Griffin, who comes to us with an impeccable resume. He's one of the best trial attorneys in the state. He's tried over 100 cases. He's going to be a defense attorney 3 for our office, taking our most serious cases and providing this community with the very best representation we can provide. He is without his wife and 2 kids who are still in Spokane. They'll be driving over after the holidays. Kevin's wife is also a very accomplished attorney in that community, and so that's another gain for our community. So when I'm excited personally just to have someone like Mr. Griffin in my office to represent some of the most serious cases in our community and to provide them with the most professional representation we can afford. But at the same time, this is a big community get, not just because of Kevin and what type of lawyer he is, but also his wife and his 2 kids, who I know love to fish, and I think our lakes are going to feel apparently they're very good, 2 8-year-old boys. I know this. I have seen them fish. I've known Kevin both personally and professionally ever since law school. He is one of the very best public defenders in the state of Washington. So I'm very excited to have him. All my colleagues are. The bench will be as well. So I'd like you to introduce Kevin Griffin to Thurston County in public defense.
Come on up, Mr. Griffin. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
After that introduction, I don't have much to add.
Oh, okay.
I'm happy to be here. If I can say a little bit about my wife.
Sure.
She's the brains of the operation. Okay. She runs the Center Against Domestic Violence. She's the head lawyer at the YWCA in Spokane. She'll be continuing that kind of work in Olympia. So
Congratulations.
she's brilliant. You'll like her.
You bet. Any questions for Mr. Griffin?
No, thank you very much. I guess I would like to mention to the public, that's, especially the viewing public, that really might not have that understanding. Having had about almost 40 years in law enforcement, it is a crucial component of the criminal justice system that you have adequate defense. If you ever get in a situation, hopefully you never will, but if you ever get in a situation and you've been wrongly accused, I can't tell you how much that means to citizens that aren't financially well off and end up in a bad situation. So it's a very important role that you folks play in our community. Thank you.
I appreciate it, sir, and I'm excited to establish a real professional relationship with local law enforcement. And
thank you.
Of course.
Well, that's kind of what I was going to say. Does your wife share the same last name?
No, her name is Chrissy Anderson.
Anderson, okay. And the reason I ask is, again, like for our viewing public, I would hope that she'll probably look at this on live stream or on
I'm sure she
however she gets it, YouTube or something. But welcome, Ms. Anderson, and the kids. Welcome to Thurston County. You will not regret it. You're going to love every minute of it here.
Get ready to move.
Well, I did tell him, Kevin's been with us a couple weeks from Spokane. I said, the weather's better here. And as I texted him last night, and I said, didn't I tell you the weather is better here?
It is. But thank you so much,
Yeah.
Kevin, because it's profoundly important work you do.
Yeah, thank you, and welcome to the Thurston County family.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner.
Sure. All righty, so the next step on the agenda for today is the opportunity for the public to address the board. And so I have a list of people who have signed up. There's still opportunity for those who did not put their name on the list to come forward, but I'll address that in just a second. So how we do this is those who signed up, first come, first serve. I'll call you to the podium by name and just kind of give me a background on where you're from in the county in general. Doesn't have to be very specific. The clock is on your right, my left, and it starts at 3 minutes and it counts down to 0. When it gets to 0, it has this kind of microwave sound. You're done. But if you're in midstream thought or whatever, I'll let you finish it up, but I'll just kind of encourage you to gather your thoughts and finish your piece there. I think that's it. So I'll just kind of get started right there. So my first person is Mr. Jerry. Is it Decker? Yeah, come on up there, sir.
Hello there. I'm Jerry Durker. I live at 2826 Cooper Point Road, Northwest, Olympia, Washington. I spoke to you here about a month ago about the appearance of fairness doctrine problems that were occurring, some of which are in court, as Mr. Edwards noted. And one of those problems that I note here is that there's that we have two former police officers on the sheriff's officers, sorry, and actually chiefs as the and that puts an interest that you guys have in law enforcement. Okay, so that's an interest that you guys already had. Mr. Edwards has, as part of a family, has a lot of property in the South County and stuff. And I believe your brother owns a bank, doesn't he? I heard.
No longer.
No longer? Oh, I didn't know. Oh, when did he get rid of it? Anyways, never mind. So this is there, and you have recently, just a few minutes ago, expressed the thing that you were at the Rotary Club here recently and saw some of the things that were going on there. Well, the Rotary Club is one of those organizations that when you're a county commissioner or a city council member or somebody that's a decision maker that has to make decisions on land use, development, things of that nature, that puts you in a conflict of interest. Each one of those things does, okay? And under the appearance of fairness doctrine, and the reason why the county's been bipped right now and is up in the court is because they don't like those ex parte contacts back and forth. When you're a part of an organization, it shows you have an interest. When you go to those organizations or you use those organizations to to pull people out and to actually put them into county staff positions and stuff, that's a problem too. That's another appearance of fairness problem, because obviously you have a conflict of interest in those kinds of things. Now, I'm not sure about Mr. Blake because I don't know you that well. Actually, I've known these guys a couple of times for a while there. And one of the things that Mr. Edwards had mentioned here last time is that the current appearance of fairness doctrine case up in this Court of Appeals was over the Maytown site, and that you two weren't involved in that case here while you were in the court, in the county commissioners. But you were down at the meeting in 2008 that started the whole thing with the Port of Olympia and the Port of Tacoma and their attorney. And I know that you were involved with that so very heavily. So I would ask you to recuse yourself from those kinds of things and to disclose all appearance of fairness doctrine conflicts of interest that you might have under RCW 4236080.
Thank you so much, Jerry.
And recuse yourself from such places that you would not be able to be doing it because you're disqualified. Thank you.
Thank you for your words today, sir. So the next person I have on the list is it Mike Bressy? Yeah, hi, sir. Come on up to the podium.
Hi, I'm Mike Bressy, Nisqually Automotive and Towing. Father and I have had a business in the Thurston County community for about 38 years. What I'm here to address today is the problem with abandoned motorhomes and RVs. I don't know if anybody knows the actual problem that we have that's been going on for the last couple of years, but as a small business, it's been very trying on us to be able to dispose of these motorhomes. We have no problem going out there and doing our part as a small business in the community by cleaning these motorhomes and RVs up. But as a small business, it costs us a tremendous amount of money to dispose of these. Legally, without a dismantler's license, we're not able to dismantle the motorhomes and RVs and get rid of them. So what we're asking for is if you don't know about the problem, maybe do some research and see if there's something that you can do to give us a hand, because in the last 2 years it's been a bigger problem than it has in years past. We're getting an average of probably one phone call a week to get rid of these motorhomes and RVs, and we're not going to be able to continue to do it much longer. So I just wanted to come up and see if we could maybe find something to address the problem.
Okay.
All right?
You bet.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Can I ask him?
You can ask a question, sure.
Mike, can I ask you a question? This has become detrimental to your business profit.
It has.
Right?
It has. And we have to pay employees to go out and do this sort of stuff. We have to use our equipment to do these things that we could be using them for other things to benefit our business. So that's the problem.
Are you aware of other jurisdictions maybe that have ordinances or have put things in place?
The city of Seattle has done something to help, get rid of them, paying the county landfills or the county disposal sites to get rid of these motorhomes. We're kind of hoping that you could maybe help us out to maybe do something to where we could. The city of Olympia has had us pick up some of these motorhomes and take to Thurston County dump, and they've actually paid to dispose of them. That would be something. We understand as a community we all have to kind of work together to get rid of this problem, but it's getting big, and we'd like maybe some help to get rid of these somehow. So, all right.
You bet, sir.
Thank you.
We have your words.
Thank you.
All righty. So next is Mr. Paul Bressy. Hello, sir.
Good afternoon.
You have the floor.
My name is Paul Bressy. As my son said, we've been in business down at Nisqually for about 38 years now. What I'm trying to address is that right now we have a work group going together with the Senate work group with the Senate Transportation Committee. And what the deal is that we've come together with the Department of Licensing, Department of Transportation, Department of Ecology, and also I'm also the legislative chair for the Towing and Recovery Association of Washington. And so we have this work group. We're trying to sponsor this bill to get funding to take care of this problem. Now, like my son said, that it's a problem that's going on right now. The problem is the funding, if we do get this pushed through, won't come into effect until January of 2019. I'm up here to ask for you guys to look into this, and if you see it's something that would be beneficial to Thurston County, that when the bill comes up, that you guys could support it. You know, we're trying to get some funding by way through registrations and that kind of stuff. So, but thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, another question.
I guess I'd just like to point out that there are numerous record companies that work here in Thurston County, and the Bressies have worked very closely with the Sheriff's Office. I'm very aware of that, and it seems like they work off of a rotation list, but none of these other companies are available when it comes to a wrecker tow for an abandoned motorhome. And it has a lot to do with the homeless activity that's going on. But it seems like others are shirking their responsibility, and these folks are willing to take these in at a loss, trying to do their part for the county. So.
The other part of the problem is that, like my son tried to bring up, is that when we dispose of the vehicles and we take them to Thurston County landfill, what happens is that we have to pay to get rid of them. And on an average, if you look at the average motorhome, the thing is it's anywhere between $350 and $750, and that's after they've been halfway dismantled. So, okay, thank you.
All righty. The next person I have on my list is Mark Bairdemfel. Did I say that correctly, sir? I'm so sorry. Close enough?
Yeah, it's Bairdemfel.
Oh, okay, good, sure. Yeah, you have the floor. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Board of Commissioners. My name's Mark Bairdemfel. I'm president of KMB Architects. And I'm here to address the upcoming vote that you have to reject all proposals for the flex unit project for the Sheriff's Department. So KMB, 30 professionals located in downtown Olympia we're celebrating our 30th anniversary. Core business has been designed for secure buildings. We were the one responsive proposer to the county's request for qualifications for that project. And the vote that you're about to take to reject that proposal would be our responsive submission of qualifications. The county, like all government agencies you're aware, is required to comply with the RCW 3980, and selection of professional services is done on basis of qualifications, not proposal. The vote that you're about to take, even the language says that after review of proposals, the recommendation is to reject. The county never asked for a proposal, and KMB never submitted a proposal. The RCW also states that the county is required to negotiate a reasonable fee, and if they're not able to do that with the qualified proposer, that the county can then reject those proposals and move on. And so all I'm doing here today is to ask you to reconsider that vote and let that process take its normal course. The resolution that you're also voting on was created prior to our interview with the county, which also leads to some questions about whether or not that was a fair process. So I'm asking for your consideration on that vote and to consider the fact that the process was not a complete process and the process lacks compliance with the RCWs. You know, I don't want to be here today, but I represent 30 people that work in this community that are active contributors to this community that have dedicated their careers to designing secure buildings. KMB is unquestionably qualified for this work. You know, you guys are in place to ensure that professionalism and fairness, and that the county is doing its work in accordance with the RCWs.
Yep.
And I ask you to really consider that. And so what I've prepared for you to leave behind is a letter explaining a list of the state of Washington AE consultant selection policy and procedure, where this procedure actually ran afoul.
If you
and
could
I'd
just
like
give it
you
to
to
the county manager, say it for me, huh?
Okay, and I also have a copy of the RCWs for your reference.
Yep.
And I just really appreciate you guys' thoughtful consideration.
And thank you for your work too, sir.
Casey, later on this particular item, we did receive an email from your firm today, as well as a voicemail. So Martin Casey will address specifically the RCWs in which you have the authority to reject bids. So he will walk you through, Martin Casey, the Director of Central Services, as to how this proposal is before you this afternoon.
And one other thing,
I think the time is.
state of Washington.
Can I give the documents to the county manager for me, please?
The state of Washington ends up in this situation all the time where they get one proposer.
Sir,
your time is up. Thank you.
And they negotiate in a fair and reasonable manner.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty. So there's some people on the list that hit the no button. There's a little button on there, and then some might have be in the audience that have taken a different thought and want to come to the podium. So I'll just ask by a show of hands if anybody still would like to come to the podium to address the board. Seeing nobody's hand, okay, we'll move on to the other part of the agenda. So, just give me 1 second.
He can't. He's busy.
I know.
Commercial break.
So the next item we have is the number 2 item, which is the county manager's update, and I'll turn to Mr. Chavez to see if he has any comments.
Thank you, Commissioners. I'd just like to take you back maybe a couple of board meetings ago where you have received both verbal and written testimony related to the shoreline management plan, particularly related to the public engagement in the process. To address some of those questions, I would like to ask Brad Murphy to come to the podium and walk us through as to what the public engagement process
Shoreline management?
we're going to be doing on the shoreline management plan. Brad is the lead planner associated with this particular plan. So here you go.
Great. Thank you, Romero. Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
Staff wanted to take this opportunity to provide a quick update on the Shoreline Master Program update process. County staff have developed a draft S&P document that attempts to meet state requirements and incorporates elements from other ecology-approved S&Ps in other jurisdictions. We are following the board's direction and wanting to move forward as quickly as possible with the least restrictive possible shoreline regulations while ensuring that there is time for inclusive public involvement of all interested parties. The draft S&P document, and it's only a draft, is currently at the beginning of the public review process with the Planning Commission. So we're just starting with the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission proposed review process tries to meet state requirements, balance a quickness of review, and provide ample opportunity for everyone to comment. There are many ways for citizens to participate, including attending stakeholder meetings, attending and speaking at planning commission meetings, and reviewing the documents online and providing written comments or questions to staff. Staff is always available to speak or to meet with interested parties and to discuss the document. At the Planning Commission level, there will also be an opportunity to testify at a public hearing, although we don't expect this to occur until mid to late 2018. The board process will follow the Planning Commission process. Interested parties can sign up for webmail notices by going to our webpage, thurstonplanning.org, and click on subscribe to our email list. I've also left some of the slips back with the sign-up sheet here at today's meeting. We encourage all interested parties to review and provide input on the S&P chapters, as well as present comments to staff and/or Planning Commission as early as possible. That's got any questions?
Any comments, questions?
Sounds like we have some time before something's going to happen.
Lots of time.
Okay.
So yeah, we're just starting the Planning Commission review process, so we're very early on.
All righty. Anything else from the county manager? No.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you, sir. So we'll move into the next item on the agenda, which is the number 3 item, consent items. And I'll ask if there's a motion to approve the consent items.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve consent items A through D.
Second.
It's been moved and second to approve the consent items A through D. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that motion carries. So the first item we have is for the departmental items is number 4, which is emergency services. And Mr. Kirk Harden, the Director of Emergency Services for Thurston County, talked to us about a contract and a performance grant.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm coming here to request the board approve the federal fiscal year 2017 Emergency Management Performance Grant, also known as EMPG, in the amount of $125,545. The EMPG contract is a recurring grant that we received from FEMA. It's passed through the State Emergency Management Division down to the county. It involves, it allows the county funds disaster preparedness, school education on disaster preparedness, and also public outreach and public education. The revenue that for this grant was already anticipated, and we already put that revenue into the 2017 and 2018 budgets, which were adopted in December of 2016. The grants specifically fund 1 complete FTE and also fund 2 partial FTEs within the emergency management office. And these grant funds require a 50% soft match, or what we call a match in kind, by the county. We meet this match by having 2 salaried positions that are funded by the county general fund. The emergency management manager and one of the emergency management coordinator positions are the match for this grant. So therefore, I'm requesting the board of the county commissioners approve the federal fiscal year 2017 EMPG contract for the period June 1st, 2017 through August 31st, 2018 for a total of $125,545.
Any questions or comments? Kurt?
No, and I like the fact you added that the matching funds are soft. It's not hard dollars coming out of our budget.
Correct.
That's great. Thank you.
All right. Is there a motion?
I move to approve Federal Fiscal Year 2017 Emergency Management Performance Grant, FFY 17 EMPG, number E18-067, for the period of June 1, 2017 through August 31, 2018, for a total of $125,545, and authorize the Director of Emergency Services to sign the agreement, as well as future amendments that do not change the approved dollar amount by more than 25%.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and that motion carries.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hardman. Okay, so from Resource Stewardship, I have Allison Osterberg, who's a senior planner, is going to tell us a little bit about a public hearing on consideration amending the impact fee schedule for Southeast Thurston Fire Authority. Hi, Allison.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Yeah.
And I'm here today for Jeremy Davis to request that you will set a public hearing for December 5th to accept public comments on an impact fee for the Southeast Thurston Fire Authority under our impact fee schedule. And this is kind of a follow-up. For earlier this year, we went through a process to add fire authorities to the list of bodies that can charge impact fees, and this is looking at that fee schedule for the Southeast Thurston Fire Authority.
Okay. Any questions of Allison?
It's not going to cost us any money, the taxpayers any money yet. It's going to just have a hearing on a proposal that we might move forward on.
It's a hearing on the proposal to add them to the list of groups that charge impact fees. Well, they're already included in that list, but to actually have the fees, the proposed date that would take effect right now would be next March if it was approved. And this is when somebody comes in to do new development, that if they're in that area that's covered by the Southeast Thurston Fire Authority, that a portion of that would go to pay for emergency services and that are provided by the fire authority.
And this is to clarify some verbiage that's already in place, is that right?
Well, earlier this year you took action to add the fire authority. Last year we had added that that fire districts could be changed, and we clarified the wording to make sure that fire authorities are covered. Now they are covered. This is to talk about the actual fee schedule.
Okay. I'm good.
Is there a motion?
Yes, I move to set a public hearing for December 5, 2017 at 3 p.m. or soon thereafter as the Thurston County Courthouse Complex, Building 1 in room 280 to accept public comment on whether or not to amend the Thurston County impact fee schedule to add an impact fee for the Southeast Thurston Fire Authority.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and that motion carries. Thank you so much, Allison.
Thank you.
So the next item is still a departmental item. It's the public defense. We have Mr. Patrick O'Connor, who's going to give us a little background on capacity contracts for 2018, and especially panel attorneys, right?
Yes, good afternoon again, Commissioners. Patrick O'Connor with the Department of Public Defense for Thurston County. I am asking the board to move the board to approve the authorization of a finite number of capacity contracts for work that will be outsourced from my department for fiscal year 2018. These are professional services contracts that are over $40,000 each, therefore require board approval. This is a first step since taking over as a director of the Public Defender's Office here in Thurston County in August. This is the first step of a plan of mine to start to try to stabilize a portion of our budget that is very variable and unstable with a lot of administrative burden and costs to not only my department but also to another county department in financial services. As I know, I've previously briefed the board on this issue and specifics, but to highlight a couple. We have traditionally outsourced work that is conflict of interest. In other words, cases that were appointed, indigent cases from the court appointing our office to represent individuals that we have a legal conflict of interest. And so there's some basis that we cannot ethically represent a client. We have to associate with local attorneys to carry out that mandated constitutional right to counsel. And what I have performed is an analysis with the assistance of my fiscal manager on the average number of cases in each unit, Superior Court, District Court, and Juvenile Court, that we average every month for these conflict cases. And what we've done historically is outsource that work at 100% billable hours. And the unpredictability that comes with such a model has been very difficult for our office to manage and let alone predict and try to forecast costs. So these are constants with conflict of interest cases for our department. So I'm asking the board to authorize the approval of specifically 2 contracts in Superior Court and 1 half contract for a total of $240,000 for fiscal year 18. 1 full contract in District Court and 1 half contract for a total cost of $135,000, and 1 full contract for juvenile court representation at $68,000. To kind of round this off, that in addition to representation for conflict of interest cases, these will also take some cases where our office has a finite number of attorneys. So in high filing months, when we're appointed a high number of cases. This will help absorb some of the outsourced work that has to go to the attorneys that we've associated with because of the number of attorneys we have in our office. So unless there's any further questions from the board, I might ask the board to authorize the issuance of these contracts.
Any questions or comments?
No.
No, but I'm very happy with the work you're doing over there in the Public Defender's Office. Thank you very much, Patrick.
Yeah, I second that. Very, very good job. Very professional. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve implementation of capacity contracts beginning January 2018.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and your motion carries.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Ms. Ayers. So the next item is number 7, Central Services, and there's 2 items on the agenda. And I asked Mr. Martin Casey to come forward and give a little bit of background on the bid award for the courthouse campus security, and then we'll talk about the second one in just a second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Martin Casey, your Central Services Director, and with me is Michael Crow, the Project Manager for the courthouse security infrastructure projects. We're here today to ask your authorization to award a contract for construction in the amount of $850,958.21 for moving forward with some important infrastructure and systems improvements here at the courthouse. In 2015, the county commissioned an analysis of security infrastructure and vulnerabilities in the physical infrastructure of the courthouse that identified a number of systems that either were aging or incomplete or perhaps not up to current security practices. These included the perimeter security of the courthouse, the door controls, and systems that support those. The county had not had the funds in the past to be able to do a complete security program for door access control, and that was identified as a vulnerability. In addition, our duress and mass notification systems are aging and in need of upgrade. Thirdly, they looked at cameras and security placement and the addition of cameras, particularly in response to recent changes in state court Office of Administrative Court requirements. And we also looked at possibly adding further intrusion detection. After receiving approval to go forward with design and going out then to bid for construction, we received 2 bids when we opened those on October 30th. The apparent low proposal came in with a base bid of about $525,000. And that was for the top priority, the door access controls, the duress alarm, and mass notification improvements. And the second and third elements of it, the additive alternates for the camera systems, brought that up to the total that we're recommending today. At this time, we're not recommending the board go forward with the intrusion detection. That would have added about another $180,000, which was beyond budget capacity at this time. So with that, we'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of Martin or?
No.
Mr. Crow, okay.
Yeah, because when it comes to, you're not supposed to be able to put a price on safety, but apparently we have to. And it's paramount that our electeds and our employees and people visiting the Capitol or the courthouse campus are safe. Mm-hmm. And so there is a price attached to that. And I'm very comfortable with this because it just has to be done. Has to be done, in my opinion.
All righty. So with that in mind, is there a motion to?
I move to award a bid in the amount of $850,958.21, including Washington State sales tax and 10% contingency for the courthouse campus security project number 25523 to BES Electrical Services in Olympia, and authorize the Central Services Director to sign the contract and any change orders for the project due to unforeseen conditions only, not for changes in scope, that do not exceed the 10% contingency.
For the purposes of discussion, I'll second that.
Okay. You want to discuss something?
No, just that I feel that
Oh.
we should stay within budget, and I think it's just gotten out of control a little bit. I realize the need, but I also realize we have a limited amount of money in the county coffers. And so for that reason, I would go to the vote.
I'll call for a vote, and your vote is?
Aye.
Aye, and your vote?
Nay.
Nay, so it's a 2-to-1 vote, but the motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right. Invite Brady to come up.
And so the second item is the rejection of the proposals for a Thurston Corrections Flex Unit.
Yes.
Yep, go ahead.
So I've asked Brady Knowles, the project manager for the Flex Unit Expansion Project, to join me to also be able to assist in answering any questions. By quick background, this project is intended to provide a very complex set of infrastructure and facility improvements to the Thurston County Corrections Facility. When it was built and designed back almost a decade ago now, the intent all along was to potentially expand in phases over time with the growing population and changing incarceration needs that we have here in the county. Last year, after quite a bit of deliberation, the county made the decision to go forward with an expansion project to add approximately 120 additional beds in high and medium security type housing. As part of that process, we also determined that there were a need for improvements to correct some issues that have come to light in the existing stormwater management system on the site, as well as to design and plan for the stormwater management needs that will be required with the addition of another 20,000 square feet or so of facility. So we attempted to go out for a design RFQ, request for qualifications, for design services earlier this year. The board authorized that in August. We advertised it at the end of August. The advertisement went out in early September, and proposals were due October 13th. We received only one response to the request for qualifications. We did invite that firm to come in after evaluating the written proposal to come in and meet with the scoring panel. The scoring panel consisted of representatives from Thurston County Sheriff's Corrections, from the Public Works program, from the Water Resources program, as well as staff from Central Services. Pursuant to their review at that time, they recommended unanimously that we not go forward with a selection, but instead revisit the parameters under which we'd gone out for solicitation of design services and look at splitting the RFQ to focus one part of it on a solicitation for the stormwater management design, the other part on the facility design. I would point out to the board that the RFQ document that was published and advertised, that all of the firms that were potentially interested in proposing on this project contains two sections that are relevant, that are part of the county's standard boilerplate language for RFQ documents, and that has been historically vetted and approved through prosecuting attorney's office. One section specifically governs rejection of proposals. The Board of County Commissioners retains the right to reject any or all proposals for good cause, and in particular to reject a proposal not accompanied by any data required by the RFQ, or a proposal which in any way materially is incomplete or irregular. The second section, immediately following, is procedures when only one proposal, only one response is received. In the event only a single responsive proposal is received, the county reserves the right to conduct an analysis of all the evaluation criteria submitted, and the sole proposal shall provide such information, data, or other documentation as deemed necessary for such analysis. The county reserves the right to reject such proposal. That is part of our established process. It has, from what staff had advised me, been part of our established RFQ processes for design services for a number of years. In this instance, we received one response to the RFQ. We did invite them in to provide further information and a presentation to the scoring committee. It was after that process that the committee recommended rejection. Be happy to answer any other questions. Oh, one other point, I'm sorry, that the individual who spoke earlier brought up, and I think is important to address and clarify. They brought up that the agenda item summary for this shows that it was created on October 17th, and that was before we actually had the final submittal. The reason for that is because essentially we created, as you're aware with the county's agenda setting system, we created a shell document. It was empty, no conclusion had been made or reached. It was just simply a shell document created so that we could get a placeholder on your agenda and get that scheduled. The actual date we submitted the AIS with our final recommendation is at the bottom of that form, and that was on November 8th, after the committee had had their full deliberations.
I see. Okay. Any questions?
Do you know of any reason, are we up against a time frame that we need to take action on this today, and if we do or don't, something else happens?
Not immediately. What we're anxious to do is continue moving forward on as the components that we might be able to, but what our intent would be is to go ahead, if you approve this today, would be to issue a solicitation within the next couple of weeks for the RFQ for the stormwater management system design services. We'd then like to conduct further research into the market conditions and how best to frame the RFQ for the facility design to try to maximize the opportunity of getting a larger pool
If this was to be postponed, I'm not saying it is, but if it was, would that have any detrimental effect on future contract arrangements or any other place in time as we move forward on this project?
Not immediately. I know the board has canceled their meeting for next week, so and I'm not sure about the week of following Thanksgiving. That is still on the calendar. So if we came back at that time, I don't think that would have a serious negative impact.
All right.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
Yes, you said the wording on the form, on the bidding or the request RFQ, has been vetted through the prosecutor's office.
Yes, all of our contract language is reviewed as formed by the prosecuting attorney's office.
And as a result of today's discussion or a motion, whether it's approved or not, are we still, as far as you know, with the prosecutor's office in compliance with the law? Because I don't want to go to jail.
Understandable. As far as we know, yes. The statutes do speak to the fact that once you've selected a firm, I'm trying to think, I pulled that up, RCW 3980 does talk about the fact that once you've selected the most qualified firm, you do enter into negotiations with them over fee structure, and if you're unable to reach agreement of fee structure, you may then also reject at that point. But at this point, we're not, the recommendation is to not select a firm at all at this point in response to this
I just don't
RFQ.
want to expose the county to liability. That's my major concern.
Understood.
Any additional? No?
I have to ask you this follow-up question. You stated, as far as we know. That bothers me.
Sorry.
As far as we know.
To the best of our knowledge, based on accumulated, 30 some odd years of contracts and procurement experience in the public works arena between our primary internal projects managers and our contracts and purchasing specialist, they've never had any challenge to this application and interpretation of this sections.
Okay.
Sure. Is there a motion?
Yes, let me find it.
Okay.
I move to reject all proposals for the design of the Thurston County Corrections Facility Flex Unit Project received on October 13th, 2017, and further move to authorize the Central Services Director to advertise 2 requests for qualifications for phased design services for stormwater management system improvements and for corrections facility expansion.
For the purposes of conversation, I'll second this.
Sure. And for that, is there an additional conversation? Any comments for you?
I have none, no.
Okay, I don't have either. So what is your vote?
I vote to approve, reject all proposals.
And your vote?
I'm opposed to
a nay vote.
I'm a nay vote.
Okay, and I'm a yes vote, affirmative vote. So it's 2-1, and so the vote carries. Your motion carries.
Appreciate it.
Okay, so the next item we have is on the number 8 item. Thank you, Martin.
Thank you.
It's the Commissioner and County Manager's items, and this is for the approval of the revised budget for Thurston County Tourism Promotion Area.
Thank you, Commissioners. Excuse me. On October 20, 2017, we received a letter from the Thurston County Tourism Promotion Area, where in that letter it stated some piece of good news. In 2017, the tourism and promotion area, they have experienced 8.5 increase in revenues. That equates to just about $100,000 in 2017. So the proposal before you is to approve the revised 2017 Thurston County Tourism Promotion Area that includes additional revenue and additional expenditure. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.
TPA, any questions?
I do not have any questions,
Comments or
no.
questions on TPA?
No.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Move to approve the revised 2017 budget for the Thurston County Tourism Promotion Area.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and that motion carries. And there's a, okay, so this is the other one is the public hearing for 2018 midterm adjustment, and that's Robin Campbell.
Yes, good afternoon, Commissioners.
Hello.
Today I am asking you to set a public hearing on the proposed midterm adjustments to the 2017-2018 budget. RCW 364250 allows counties to adopt a 2-year budget and also has a requirement for a mid-biennium review. Thurston County adopted its first biennial budget for 2017 and 2018, and we're about halfway through that biennium. Push to talk. Push what?
Please stand by.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, I'll start again.
Just do it again, please.
So, yes. Wow, very
Now
loud
we can
now.
hear you.
So, I'm asking that you set a public hearing on the proposed midterm adjustment to the 2017-2018 budget. RCW 3640-250 allows counties to adopt a 2-year budget and also has a requirement for a mid-biennium review. So Thurston County adopted its first biennial budget for 2017 and 2018. We're about halfway through that, so it's time to talk about the midterm. The proposed midterm adjustment makes changes for both revenue and expenditures in all offices and departments, and most, if not all, of the county's funds, and is based on the most current information that we have. The proposed, excuse me, the public notice of the hearing for the proposed budget will be published on Monday, November 20th in the Olympian. We will also publish the notice in the Nisqually Valley News, and the budget document will be published and available online, and hard copies will be available by request. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Any question about the public hearing or the content?
No.
Nope.
No. Okay, is there a motion?
Move to set a public hearing on Monday, December 4th, 2017 at 6 p.m. or shortly thereafter at the Thurston County Courthouse, Building 1, Room 280, to receive public comments on the proposed 2018 midterm adjustments of the 2017 and 2018 operating and capital budgets.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in
Before you vote, I would just like to clarify that the adjustments will be both for 2017 and 2018, not 2018 only.
Correct.
So there's adjustments in both years.
Correct.
Okay. With that in mind, do you have a still second?
Yes.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and that motion carries. You bet. So then we're at item C, where the county commissioners are able to report back for any work session or assigned assigned committee meetings, or just anything they have on their mind. I just asked any of my seatmates, did they have anything to talk about? Yep, go ahead.
Well, I guess I'll just talk about one thing. I was over at the Capitol Rotunda for a Veterans Day ceremony on Saturday. All three of us, I guess, were there.
Yeah.
But I guess I'd like to comment that Judge Brett Buckley did what I feel was the best presentation talking about veterans' activities in that type of a setting than I've heard in many, many, many years.
It was very
He
good.
did a super good job.
It was about country, family, and individual at the same time, was it? Yeah, it was very good. And you, sir?
Well, just regarding that event, the 11th hour, 11th day of the 11th month, not only Judge Buckley, but I think Congressman Denny Heck did a good job as well.
Yes, he did.
In talking about not only thanking a veteran for their service, but also saying, I respect your decision, which might not play out so well for Vietnam-era veterans who maybe didn't make the decision. But I thought he did a real good job as well. I attended in the last couple of weeks the Family Support Center Fall Breakfast, their fundraiser, Animal Services called JASCOM, that's Joint Animal Services Committee, their meeting. TRPC, the Thurston Regional Planning Council's 50th anniversary, did 2 community outreach sessions, one in Tenino, one downtown Olympia. Attended the Transportation Policy Board, the Olympic Region Clean Air Agency meeting, the LOT meeting, board meetings, and many of these are in the evening as well. And the Thurston Mason BHO, Behavioral Health Organization, and just yesterday, Community Investment Partnership. It's always active and ongoing, and I enjoy every minute of it.
Yay. All right, that's great. So I don't have anything this time. I'll just see if there's any last comments or anything. Nope. With that in mind, is there a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn. Nope.
Oh, you got some. I forgot. Okay, my bad.
Something was missing.
Me too.
Thank you again, Commissioners. I'd just like to remind the public the next week's Board of County Commissioners meeting, which is November 24, 2017, is canceled.
So did you say on 21st of November, the BoCC?
It's 11/24th.
The 11/24th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right. So it's
we will not
November
have it then.
24th, 2017 is canceled.
Okay.
No, it's the 21st.
Yeah,
Okay. Sister, have one more time. So the
Okay,
21st.
one more time.
That one's
The Board
canceled.
of County Commissioners next week of Tuesday, November 21st,
There you go.
2017 is canceled. With that in mind, I will walk you through your combined calendar for the next 2 weeks. The appointments that I will be mentioning to you is where at least 2 commissioners will be present. You may have individual appointments on your individual calendars, and those will not be part of my report. So beginning this afternoon, November 14, 3:30, you have your regular Board of Health, followed by at 5:30, Board of Health public hearing, where you will hear public testimony related to proposed changes to amend the Article 4, which is related to the Thurston County Sanitary Code. Tomorrow, Wednesday, November 15th, at 2 in the afternoon, you have the opportunity to talk to your interim director of the Resource Stewardship. Well, he will give you a perspective as to what he found on the department as he is moving on this journey. 2:30 in the afternoon, you will hear from your PIOs, your public information officers, about the 2018 proposed communications plan for the Commissioner's Office. You have nothing on your combined calendar for Thursday, November 16th, nothing for Friday, November 17th. Moving on for next week, it's a short week, but it's packed in a way. So Monday, November 20th at 9 in the morning, you have a briefing on Title 26. That will give you an opportunity to hear some of the opportunities that perhaps you may see as to modifying and changing some elements of Title 26. Also at 10 in the morning, you have a briefing on the Joint Animal Services. And hopefully that will give you a perspective as to how the budget is going to be coming in 2018. Also in the afternoon, November 20th at 3 in the afternoon, you have the Thurston Thrives Coordinating Council. Tuesday, November 21st, again, the Board of County Commissioners is canceled. As a result of that, your calendar is 7:30. You have the South Sound Military Communities Partnership Elected Officials Council breakfast. That is going to be held at the Eagles Pride Golf Course in the JBLM grounds. You will come back at 1:30 in the afternoon, where you will have the agenda setting, where you will review the agenda for the following Board of County Commissioners. And also at 3 in the afternoon, you'll have two public hearings, one related to the 2016 Urban and Housing Development Consolidating Annual Performance and Evaluation Report. And the second public hearing is related to the proposed revenue sources to support the fiscal year 2018 or the 2017-18 biennium budget. On Wednesday, November 22nd, at 9 in the morning, you will have the opportunity to talk to your Director of the Public Health and Social Services, Shelley Slater. Well, she'll come and talk to you about what she found on the department as she's in the last 6 months in this position. At 10 in the morning, you will have a briefing on the recommendations of the salary commissions for all the elected officials. And at 10:30 on November 22nd, you will have the Thurston County Behavioral Health Organization, the BHO, as a separation agreement. As you may know, the BHO moved out of the Public Health and Social Services Department, and this agreement will give you the detailed explanation as to some of the items that we need to deal to conclude the formal separation of that organization from the county. Thursday, November 23rd, is the courthouse is closed, it's Thanksgiving holiday, and November 24th is the day after Thanksgiving holiday. So 2 days off next week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions, comments?
No.
No. All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
That was off camera.
That's all right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn the Board of County Commissioners meeting of 14 November 2017.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. We are adjourned.
And we're going to reconvene in about